All right, fantastic to have you here today, Jean-Paul, and a moment to celebrate with you and to celebrate you for being People's Choice winner in the London Demo Night last month. How was your experience there?
Thanks, Gerard. That was great, actually. So, what I liked about Demo Night is the atmosphere. So everybody was extremely supportive. It was really well organized, and more importantly, the expectations for the pitch were communicated very clearly in advance. The team communicated with me, and we had a call to prepare myself. And because it was a new format, actually the guidance ahead of the demo night was actually helpful. An additional thing was that it was the first time that I pitched to a panel where you had such a wide variety of people in the audience, so founders, operators, students, and investors. And I've often been told before that what we build is complex and that the topic is a bit too technical for people to understand. So it was great to have the chance to, develop the pitch for a wider audience and try and communicate the message clearly.
Nice, nice. I'm really glad. I'm really pleased that you became People's Choice winner and that you accepted the invitation last month to be, or just last week, right, to come back and be a panelist as well and help shape the narrative of the ones that were giving a demo last month too. Tell me, did you work with any of the mentors before you did the demo night? Did you speak to Chuck or Pedro or anybody like that?
I actually spoke to Sarah before
Okay.
as a part of the preparation for demo night, but I hadn't met anybody else who was on the panel or who was mentoring during demo night. But obviously, since then, as you could see when I was on the panel last month, the startup ecosystem is quite small. So I knew actually a few of the not only the founders pitching, but some of the fellow panelists with me. So that's good to be in a familiar and supportive environment.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think we all rise together, right, when we work like that. It's not about crawling over dead bodies to be successful.
Exactly.
So tell us, what are you working on?
So GameControl started as a mental health application to help people suffering from gambling harms solve their psychological issue and support them on the psychological side initially to recover from gambling problem. But we've now evolved in the fintech that provides behavioral underwriting. And what I mean by that is we work with financial services to help them identify customers or applicants for credit that would have gambling issues. And rather than rejecting them and sending them to a solution with which they will not engage, we help them tackle both their financial and psychological issues. And we do that through a combination of AI. Obviously, everybody is using AI these days. And how we use AI specifically is we use large language model for delivery, but we also use machine learning in the background to analyze gambling behaviors and to find the best way to support those customers in recovery.
Amazing. All right. Is your background in financial services or is it in behavioral science, or how do you bring all these worlds together?
My background is actually because I had a gambling problem myself, so that's what triggered the creation of the company and the start of our mission. But I just so happened to have worked for 10 years in finance, so it was kind of a full circle moment when we started building in mental health. So we work with psychologists and charities specialized in mental health, but then we also started working with an environment that I'm a bit more familiar with, which is financial services. And what I would say is different about what we do is we're not an organization that designed a solution and then ask the opinion of people with lived experience. Because I have lived experience of the program myself. I manage a group with 20,000 gamblers in recovery. Lived experience is actually the core and the foundation of what we do. And then we make sure that it's compatible with the latest research in psychology and neuroscience and all of that in a financial services context. So it's kind of the culmination of the different part of my life coming together to bring these solutions to life.
Amazing. And when I teach this stuff about entrepreneurship on the masters and the accelerator programs, first thing we say is the best origin of any idea is find a problem that annoys you and frustrates you, that is your own experience. Fix it for you, then fix it for other people that look like you, and then look to the left, look to the right, and fix it for them. And if you've really got some customers at this point, you're doing great, right? But that empathy of being the person who had the challenge up front or had the problem or the frustration, you can't beat that, right? And so
Yeah.
you're not one step separated or two steps separated. You are the customer, which is
Yeah.
amazing. Okay. So how far have you got with this, and what's next?
We've already have a live mental health product, so we've tested it. We're 10 times better than any other mental health benchmark in terms of engagement. But because we wanted to make sure to tackle both the financial and the psychological aspect, we pivoted 9 months ago and started integrating in financial services. We've run a successful pilot in Finland, so all the gamblers, most of the gamblers who went through our program quit, and the majority of them managed to get their debt refinanced at a lower cost that they were currently paying. What we see after 6 months after the end of the pilot is that not only they haven't gone back to gambling, but they haven't missed a single payment of their debt, which is a testament that this is actually working. The next step for us is to actually scale this model in the UK. We're discussing. We have a few key partnership within the credit system in the works, and we hope to bring the solution live to market in the UK in the third quarter of the year. So, sometime between July and September, we should be live.
And I know you mentioned during the NatWest Accelerator today in London. What can you talk about what help they're being and what access points they're giving you that's being supportive of the mission?
Yeah, the NatWest team has actually been extremely supportive because they helped us not only validate some of the hypotheses that we have around why financial services would be interested in supporting gamblers in recovery, but they've also made introduction within the bank to specialists that might end up being clients in a few years. Obviously, selling to financial institution takes a long time, but on top of it, they also help spread and raise the awareness of the problem we're solving. Because to be completely transparent, gambling addiction and over indebtedness are not topics that people like to talk about, very openly. And the fact that we have a team at the bank that kind of helps spread the message internally, invite me to events to pitch and to relay the message, is kind of aligned with what the community is doing for me with the award. Is you increase the awareness of the prime, increase the awareness of the innovative solutions that are out there, and eventually it helps bring more people on board with what we're trying to do.
Amazing, amazing. I'm really glad they're being supportive. And I'll one of my colleagues in Bristol used to run the NatWest Accelerator there, so I'll ask her what she knows about this as well.
Yeah.
So you obviously, as part of your People's Choice thing, you've got 12 months virtual incubation with Canopy. And one of my questions for you today is there anything already that you know that we can help you with? Obviously, the links come to you for incubation plans and all that kind of thing. But what do you need? How can we help?
Actually would like to be connected with more founders because building a startup can be difficult at times, a bit isolating, and as founders, I think nobody understands the journey we're on than other founders. So being part of a community with other founders is great. Being part of a community which is supportive but not sycophantic like ChatGPT, where not everybody is going to agree, is also great because I think one of the worst things that could happen to a founder is when everybody says, yeah, yes, what you're doing is great, and nobody provide actual feedback. And what I saw during the panel when I was presenting, and the panel was I was on the other side giving feedback, is the honesty in the feedback with the supportive tone helps actually put things in perspective, sharpen the message, sharpen the vision, and deliver what we're trying to do for our users.
Amazing. Okay, well, we can definitely support you with that. And as part of the People's Choice winners, you're in what we call in Canopy, we call it the vintage. So the vintage for the year that runs from December through to November, which is when we do our Web Summit edition. So we'll instantly introduce you to all the people that are in that same vintage, the sort of 30 different winners of People's Choice Awards this year. And when you do your incubation plan, that will also pick out the ones from there that are the most relevant to you and what you're trying to do in your goals. And it will give you introductions to them or give you their LinkedIns and say, when you want the introductions, just let us know. And so we can connect you directly with other peers who are working on relevant stuff adjacent to you right now. And they could be in India, they could be in Portugal, they could be in the UK, they could be in the US, they could be from anywhere within the global community. And that's one of the joys of this remote stuff, is that we've just got such a spread of people. When you suddenly start working together with people you never would have met because you're in London or you're in Lisbon or whatever, and now you suddenly find this global reach, is really quite powerful.
No, that's great. That's great, and I look forward to it. In terms of one additional next step for us is we're actually in the middle of our fundraise. We're fundraising now. So if I have one piece of advice to give to founders who are preparing to pitch for Demo Night is be yourself, because everybody else is already taken. Everybody knows that. But it's more around like be prepared, and be prepared because just like a fundraise, you will be asked questions about your numbers, about your market, about your solution, and preparation is your best ally, and just enjoy the experience after.
It's sometimes very funny to me when we're at Demo Night and people are presenting about their own ideas, and you ask them a question and they don't know. You're kind of like, but it's your idea, not my idea. How do you not know your own numbers? It's kind of crazy. And for an investor, that's a really difficult moment, quite a red flag. You've got to really want to work with people if they don't know the numbers. Okay, well, fantastic. And I really do applaud you. I'm sorry I wasn't at your particular Demo Night, but it was really exciting to meet you last week in London. Loved your questions on the panel and the way you've also been intellectually honest, but also supportive with the people that were up there on the stage. So thank you for that. You're going to be a great part of the community. And congratulations to you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody who voted for me. Thank you, Stuart, and I'll speak to you very soon.
Fantastic. Thanks, Jean-Paul.
Bye-bye.